In the deep green heart of the forest, where shadows stretched like secrets, lived a tiny sparrow named Pip. Small, brown, ordinary. At least, that's how the other birds saw him. But Pip carried something they couldn't see, dreams as wide as the sky. He longed for deserts that burned gold, seas that shone silver, skies that never ended. One day, Pip whispered to himself, "I'll see them." But the old crow cackled. The woodpecker scoffed. Even the pigeon sighed. Dreams are dangerous. And for a while, Pip believed them. But fate had other plans. One crisp morning, as sunlight spilled like molten gold, the forest shook. A falcon, majestic, fierce, crash-landed near Pip's tree. His wings were torn, his feathers scorched. The other birds hid. Pip didn't. He leapt down, gathered herbs, and tended the falcon's wounds day after day. At first, the falcon glared in silence, but slowly his eyes softened. "Why help me?" he asked. "Because you needed help?" Pip answered simply. When the falcon healed, he gave Pip a single feather, silver, tipped with red. "This is a feather of fire," he said. "It will remind you. The fire is already within you." That night, Pip could not sleep. The feather glowed in moonlight. The dream in his chest burned brighter than ever. And by dawn, his choice was made. With seeds and water tucked into a leaf pouch, Pip tied the feather to his leg. The mountains loomed before him, dark giants crowned with mist. Most birds avoided them. But Pip whispered, "I will try." He soared into the sky. At first, it was magic. The forest waved below. The wind carried him like music. But the higher he climbed, the crueler the sky became. Cold air toward his wings. Voices of doubt clawed at his mind. "You're too small. Go back. You'll never make it." Then a violent gust ripped his pouch open. Seeds scattered like fallen stars. Pip tumbled onto a rocky ledge, trembling. "Maybe they were right," he whispered. "Maybe dreams are dangerous." But then he felt it. The feather of fire, warm against his leg, glowing in the shadows. And Pip rose once more. Snow stung his eyes. Thin air burned his chest. The mountains tested him with storms, hunger, and nights colder than stone. But Pip refused to turn back. Days blurred into nights. He drank from frozen springs. He hid in hollow rocks. He flew when stars burned brightest. Every beat of his wings whispered, "I may be small, but I am not weak." At last, he rose above the final ridge. Clouds parted. Sunlight poured like fire across his feathers. And there it was, a world beyond imagination. Golden fields, sparkling rivers, forests that sang with colors he had never seen. The skies stretched forever. He had done it. Pip had crossed the mountains. But the story was only beginning. In this new land, Pip discovered wonders. Flamingos glowing pink like fire at dawn. Parrots laughing in bright voices. Hummingbirds racing like living jewels. And here, no one mocked him. Instead, they listened. They marveled at his story. They touched the feather of fire with reverence. One young bird asked, "How did you cross the mountains?" Pip smiled softly. "The power was never in my wings. It was always in me." But deep in his heart, Pip knew he must return. Seasons passed, and Pip returned to his old forest. The crow was still on his crooked branch. The woodpecker still hammered bark. But when Pip landed, they hardly recognized him. His eyes held wisdom. His chest carried warmth. "You came back?" the crow whispered. "Yes," Pip said with a smile, "and I have stories to share." Every evening, young birds gathered around him. He told them of deserts and rivers, storms and skies. But most of all, he spoke of belief. And the forest began to dream again. Pip built his nest high in the tallest tree, where he could see both the mountains and the skies beyond. The feather of fire hung by his nest, gleaming like a promise. And whenever a young bird doubted, Pip would smile and say, "You don't have to be the biggest. You don't have to be the strongest. You just have to believe. The fire is already within you. Because the greatest power in the world is not in wings. It is in the heart that dares to dream." And so, dear friends, our story comes to a gentle close. Pip the Sparrow taught us something timeless. No matter how small we feel, no matter how heavy the doubts around us, the fire inside us can carry us beyond the highest mountains. If Pip could rise, so can you. Sparkles, thank you for flying with us through this journey of courage, wonder, and transformation. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, because together, we're building a community where English isn't just studied, it's lived. Speech balloon before you go. I'd love to hear from you. If you had a feather of fire like Pip, what dream would you chase? Until next time, keep believing, keep growing, and keep your fire alive. Fire Dove.